Going on, y'all? I know it's been a little while since I made a video. I haven't had a whole lot to say. I got an email. I got something to say about this though. I got an email and this guy, he says, video idea. Your reaction and unfiltered as always thoughts on Conor McGregor getting owned. Striking versus grappling and the shit talking that led to the after fight crowd brawl. I definitely have some shit to say about this. Now, I was gonna do a video on this last week, because I ordered 2 bottles of proper 12 Irish whiskey from, that's Conor McGregor's, his brand of whiskey. I ordered 2 bottles. FedEx lost the shit. I made some phone calls. I'm getting it resent. I was going to do a review of the whiskey and give my fight picks. Obviously, that ain't happening, because we all know what happened. So when the whiskey does come, I will do another video talking about the whiskey, and I'll probably talk about some other shit as well, of course. But right now, I'll just give my thoughts on the fight. I'll give my educated opinion on what I think happened and why it happened and what I think should happen as an aftermath of this fight. So Conor McGregor and Khabib, not Khabib, it's Khabib, they've been talking about fighting for years now. And they finally did. They finally fought. Now, some people were talking about Conor McGregor, did he go too far with talking about his religion, talking about his father and his family and his country and his culture? No. If they were playing basketball or playing tennis or doing anything that doesn't involve combat, like hand-to-hand combat, then yeah, it's too far. But if you're gonna fight the guy anyway, then fuck him, dude. You say whatever you want, man. You can say whatever you want, because you have to answer for those words. Now, McGregor took a big risk by fighting Khabib. Took a big risk. It was a bigger risk for McGregor than it was for Khabib. Because McGregor talked all that shit. He said these terrible things about his religion. He didn't really say much about his religion, but he kind of talked about his culture. He talked about his father, he talked about his manager, he talked about, he got pretty personal. So McGregor had to back that shit up. And in my opinion, McGregor, he put up a good fight. He did a lot better than I thought he would do. He did a lot better than I thought he would do. In fact, but I thought that after I watched the first round, I just thought it was Khabib's fight. I mean, I had a little bit of hope for him, but I noticed that McGregor didn't look his normal self, because normally when he fights, he's way more elusive on the feet. He's very accurate. He's very accurate with his punches. And in this fight, it was the first time I'd ever seen him fight, including the Floyd Mayweather boxing match, where he didn't really land anything that good. He didn't land anything good. In my opinion, he didn't land any good punches. He did a pretty good job with some takedown defense in the later rounds, but he was very flat-footed, and I don't think he was very smart with his strategy, because Khabib is a single-leg takedown master. That's when you grab one leg off of somebody and you take him to the ground with that one leg, and it takes some technique. McGregor was throwing a teep, and if you don't know what a teep is, it's a front leg, or no, it's just a single leg push kick, obviously just directly at the person in a straight line. And Conor McGregor was literally handing the single leg takedown to Khabib by doing that. Now, I know what McGregor was trying to do. He was trying to throw the teep, get Khabib to drop his hands, and then throw the straight left afterwards. He did it to Chad Mendes. He's done it to other fighters as well. But Khabib is on another level with wrestling. Now, I think that the reason Conor was a little more flat-footed and didn't use his movement so well was because he was exhausted. I also think a little bit was he kind of was underestimating Khabib, but I think a lot of it was exhaustion. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, Conor McGregor is out of shape, he has no cardio. Well, I've wrestled a little bit in my life. I mean, not enough to say that I'm even a semi-decent grappler, because I'm not. I'm not a trained grappler. But if you've ever been held down by another man for any length of time, and you're trying to get up and he's holding you down and hitting you and things like that, you're going to get exhausted mentally and physically. It's very taxing. There's no strength like a wrestler's strength. It's totally true, man. Wrestlers and grapplers, it's a different level of conditioning. It just is. So Khabib landed the most devastating shot, which I don't think anybody really expected that. Nobody expected Khabib to land that duck and chuck. A duck and chuck is when you duck your head and just kind of chuck your right hand. And he dropped Conor, man. When have you ever seen Conor McGregor get dropped in any fight? He lost to Floyd Mayweather, but he didn't get dropped. It was a standing TKO. And the reason he got caught with that overhand right is because he had his hands low. Conor had his hands low to try to sprawl with the takedown. Like, if you have your hands low, then you have a better chance of not being taken down. Whereas if you have your hands up here and a guy just single legs you or double legs you, then he could take you down a lot easier. But if you have your hands low, then you could take you can stop the takedown better. But what Khabib did is, instead of going for the takedown, he threw an overhand right. It was a very effective punch. And it dropped Conor McGregor, and that's why McGregor got dropped, because he did not expect Khabib to throw that and get dropped by it. So I know that Conor McGregor was very upset he got dropped by that. In the 4th round, he inevitably got finished. A lot of people too were calling him a pussy for tapping. They're like, "Oh man, you're a quitter, you're a tapper, you quit when things get tough." Now what Khabib did is he had him in a rear naked choke position, but it was actually a neck crank. And a neck crank is essentially when you crank someone's neck. You have your forearm on their jaw, and you apply pressure, and you literally just crank their neck to one side or the other. If McGregor did not tap, he would have had a broken neck. He literally would have had a broken neck. Now, I've been in a neck crank, and anybody that has never been in a neck crank, I suggest you go to a jiu-jitsu gym or any kind of grappling gym and have even a guy that's smaller than you put you in a neck crank. You will tap. And if you don't tap, you will break your neck. Or he will break your neck, rather. So McGregor was right for tapping. If he didn't, it would have fucked him up completely. Now, after the fight, nobody expected the brawl. Khabib jumped the cage, charged Dylan Dennis, who had been trolling Khabib online for weeks, was calling him a fucking Muslim rat. So I get why he did it. Now, what kind of punishment will Khabib face? I don't know. I think that he should be fined, of course. I don't know if he should be stripped of his title, because he didn't really hurt anybody. The people that should be in trouble were his buddies, the Russian guys, who were actually UFC fighters, but are no longer fighters, because Dana White has since cut them from the UFC, and rightfully so, man. They jumped the cage. One of the guys, he's a trained fighter, and he went up behind Conor and cold-cocked him in the head. Conor did not retaliate, and also, surprisingly enough, he did not press charges. People are also talking about the bus attack incident, and they're saying that Khabib and all his friends were just for doing that because of the bus attack incident. Is that the case? I mean, it's kind of hard to argue not. It's kind of hard to not say that was just. Was it fair play? I mean, probably. But Conor lost the fight. He lost the fight. After the fight's over, that should be the end of it. There should be no more punches thrown, no more violence whatsoever. That was crazy to see. And a lot of street fights spilled out on the streets after that because of the brawl, like Conor fans versus Khabib fans. Now, let's talk about, does Conor deserve a rematch? In my opinion, he does not deserve a rematch. Now, does that mean he won't get one? He still might get one. But Conor McGregor was he got dominated by Khabib. It wasn't a good back and forth fight where Conor had him down and blah 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 blah. Khabib pretty much from start to finish was dominating the fight. He dropped him, which no one's ever dropped Conor McGregor, dude. I mean, like in a pro fight at least. I'm sure it happens in sparring and training, but you know what I mean. If Conor wants another title shot, he needs to fight Kevin Lee, or he needs to fight Tony Ferguson. And if he can get through Tony Ferguson and or Kevin Lee, then he can fight for the title. I think the next fight in lightweight division should be Tony Ferguson versus Khabib, for sure, for the title, dude. That's the fight, man. Conor needs probably take a little bit off. I know he wants a rematch. Now, if Conor and Khabib rematch, I think it's going to put a bad taste in the fans' mouth, because what are the chances of Conor McGregor honestly beating Khabib at this point? In my opinion, he might put up a better fight. He still could knock out Khabib, because Conor McGregor was not using his striking to his fullest in this fight. But the reason he wasn't was because he was so worried about the takedowns. See, so it's kind of like there's that balance that you need. Like, if you're fighting a good wrestler, you can't always use your striking to your fullest, because you do have to be worried about the takedowns. And Conor McGregor, his ground game is good for sure, but it was no match for Khabib. It was no match for him. I personally think there are much better, more exciting fights for Conor McGregor in the lightweight division. He also has he's on a 6-fight contract with the UFC, so he has 5 more fights on his contract, I believe. There are so many exciting fights for him. I love to see him fight Anthony Pettis once Anthony Pettis' hand heals. He broke his hand in the fight. I like to see him fight Kevin Lee. And honestly, if he fights Kevin Lee, it might be a similar story, man, because Kevin Lee's a great wrestler, man. That's the thing about the Irish, is that in Irish culture, whatever, they have boxing. They have good boxing. Wrestling is more of an American thing. It's more of a Russian thing. So some of the best wrestlers in the world come from Russia, America, even Cuba as well. Maybe even from Mexico, because they have a lot of wrestling down there. But mostly America and Russia. So Conor McGregor, as far as an exciting fight, because it's still going to sell out. It's still going to blow the pay-per-view out of the water. Everyone's going to watch it. If he fights a phenomenal striker like Anthony Pettis or even Tony Ferguson, that's going to be a good fight. But he does not deserve to fight Khabib. Khabib is probably going to be suspended. He'll be lucky if his visa doesn't get revoked to come back in this country, man. So I was super pumped up to see this card. I cannot wait for another fight from Conor McGregor. And just in case anybody was wondering, because I have been asked this, who's my favorite fighter? My favorite fighter is Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy Ferguson. I love how artistic he is and how he moves. And I think something that's interesting about Tony Ferguson is that he hasn't sparred in over like 4 or 5 years. Cause why would you? At this level, you don't need to train punches and kicks. He knows how to punch and kick. He trains movement. He trains conditioning. And I love how he fights. He puts it all out there. And just his overall essence, I love Tony Ferguson. He's my favorite fighter. If Conor McGregor fights Tony Ferguson, it'll be a good fight. But I'll be rooting for Tony Ferguson because he is my favorite fighter for sure, man. So I know that there'll be a lot more news coming out about Khabib's punishment and what's going to happen with him legally. The Nevada State Athletic Commission is still, doing like a big analysis and a review on what's going to happen with him, man. So, anyways, guys, everything's going great for me, man. I'm working hard. I'm doing everything that I need to be doing, man. And I'll be going to Mexico in 5 weeks. And I will be documenting everything. Believe me, man. Trying to think if there's anything else I could tell you guys. I mean, I'm sorry I haven't been putting out videos so much, but I just, I'm not gonna make videos just to talk shit about people like some other people like to do. I'm not gonna make videos for the sake of making a video. At this point, I'm not getting paid for any of this, so I'm following the money, and believe me, like I said, once the Mexico journey starts, I'll be popping out videos every day, maybe even a couple a day. It's going to be great, man. But for now, I'm laying low, saving up money, man. But if you guys do have a video topic and you do want me to talk about something that I feel is worthy to be spoken about, man, nojokestriking@gmail.com. Bitches. That'll be in the description box below. You guys can like and share my shit on Facebook, facebook.com/nojokehour, man. Hey, I love you guys. Thank you for sticking with me. I noticed my subscribers are coming up by the day. There must be something about that, man. So, peace!